y'all?
What up, fool?
Ooh,
You like that?
That was like a little song.
It's like a little melodic.
I like it.
I'm trying it on. It feels fun.
I like it. That was like the least gangster "What Up Foo" I've ever heard.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
That was like gangster meets
That's a little
like
flair.
barbershop quartet.
Ooh.
That's what just happened.
I could shave a mustache in and be full on barbershop quartet.
I'm so excited. Our middle son is going to a new high school and they have a barbershop quartet instead of choir.
I thought you were about to say he's going to a new high school and he's going to grow a mustache. And I was like, yes.
He is trying. Like
he's got this little
15-year-olds. They're so awkward.
Yeah.
Never. If I ever had to go back to an age, it would not be 15.
No, that's a tough age for all of us.
Yeah, no, that's not my question today.
No.
So we'll get into it.
Talking about energy.
And not like the word. This is not going to be fluffy fucking butterfly energy. This is like real energy conversation because energy does matter.
Yep.
And it shifts the room regardless of what energy, your energy shifts the room. That's what I'm trying to say. Period. So my question, what energy, what is your favorite type of energy to be in? Like, how would you categorize that? Whatever. Oh my God, I'm gonna say it.
Do it. Okay.
One of our clients.
Yeah. I don't know what you're about to say.
BDE.
Oh yeah.
he talks about big dick energy all the time.
Yeah.
And so
that's a thing.
when no, that's highly inappropriate, you guys. I'm sorry. Yeah. It's a thing though.
That's a thing on the world though. People know that.
It is. And so how would you, we know what his this is the best kind of energy. This is when I feel at my best. That's what we're talking about. I don't think you would use that language.
No.
What would be your version of BDE?
It's something I think a lot about, and I actually try to put a lot of energy or a lot of intention into how I show up, because I think there's some nuance, right? Like the BDE energy is I think potentially, and like this, we love this guy. He's great and he's a powerhouse, but I think that
I just always think of a big truck, like a guy that just jumps out of a huge truck.
I when I think about confidence at the expense of clarity and kindness.
Oh.
And I'm very confident. But I want to temper that confidence with humility, and that I don't know how I would describe that or what the word would be, but that is the balance that I try to bring when I'm at my best, is confidence, which my version of that is brings clarity and brings brings safety and alignment, with also this kind of balance of I'm not the smartest person in the room. I don't potentially have all the answers. I don't want to have all the answers. I want to invite other people into the conversation. I want to learn from other people. And so
I think that's grounded. Like, you're a very grounded and accountable person when you're at your best. You're kind of that way. Well, you're very accountable regardless, but when you're at your worst, you're still accountable. But I would say you're inviting and you're grounded and you're accountable is how I would label you at your best.
What do the kids do? Is there
I don't know.
Other way to do the heart?
I don't know. It's upside down. If you're watching us, you're like,
we're messing it up. If you're younger than I am, I'm sorry, I've screwed it up. I don't know how to do the heart.
I don't know.
I don't know. We're not good at it. I'm too old. Thank you. That's very kind.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. I do. I try to. Yeah, I try to temper that. I want to. I think I have a natural ability to lead with confidence, but I think that also, if left unchecked, can just bulldoze the room. And I don't want to be that person.
Well, I think when you're at your best too, you're a really great listener. I think when you're in stress, you actually over communicate.
Totally.
Like you in pursuit, or if you're like not, if it's not landing, that's always your language. It's not landing with people, you over communicate, and sometimes it's that like they need to be heard versus So I like you do a really great job at that most of the time. I also like your little fiery side occasionally, like that sometimes is like a version, like when you communicate clearly, you are very direct. But I think when you're not at your best, you like get a little too nice.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And I'm like, can you like be your fiery self and just like
Great.
because you don't, as a challenger, you don't do that a lot, which we're quite opposite with. But
well, very nice.
Yes. I mean, we're like, I think we play well. We're good cop, bad cop together a lot. So
it's our sandbox. And
yes.
It's great.
Yes. So if you're listening to this, let's start the conversation, which is having you think, once you take a second, so you kind of have some context for this. And it's not like fluffy, like woo-saw energy. It's like, I literally want you to think about how you feel. What is the energy you live in or you feel when you are at your best versus you're stressed? So what does that look like? For me, I think at my best, I am calm and like grounded. I think that's probably one for both of us. And then at my stress, I'm like driving. Like I am like moving really quickly and come in hot and intense. I think like the intensity, passion and intensity. I would say I'm still passionate when I'm at my best. So I just want you to like see that, set yourself up for those two pieces. And let's hop into it. How do we shift our energy? Let's talk about it. How do we even know what the fucking energy we are in driving? Let's talk about it and the results that it has. Why does this matter?
So let's talk about there's a bit of like an energy. I've been loving frameworks lately. Ooh. As we know. If you listen to the last podcast, a sweet little clarity framework there. This is our energy check framework. Is the 3 E's, and you can use these 3 E's daily. And this is to check your energy, because the people reflect the emotional kind of energy and cues of their leaders. So if you come in hot and you're doing all the things that we've talked about doing, and you're not at your best, your team's not at their best. They can't be. That's just the way we interact as humans. That's, high achievers too. There's a layer of this where we kind of accidentally, if left unchecked, lead with urgency, fear, and chaos versus like clarity and confidence. That's a very, very fine line, slippery slope. That's very much like when I was giving my example, like getting into that, like too much confidence. I'm quickly kind of in that phase, right? Like I could tip into be like, let's just go. Like it has to happen now. And everything's like super pressured and fast and urgent, but not in a way that yields any sort of results.
That's the difference between hustling and high achieving. Hustlers have that. Like hustlers definitely drive from urgency, fear, and chaos, and they fear monger, right? Like that. I actually will catch myself occasionally like not everything's an emergency. So if you run your culture like everything's an emergency and you're not a brain surgeon or someone who's doing trauma care in a hospital, you don't get to say it's an emergency. There's very few things in our cultures. Stop doing that. That's not high achieving. That's hustling. And we are a no hustle culture.
Love that. Yeah, man.
And then
that's better than my 3 E's framework that I'm about to give people.
Oh, thank you. See, you're so kind. And then the last one is, this is a question I want you to ask yourself when you're like feeling off or things are happening, because your team is going to show you signs of this. If you're not actually in an energy that's productive, you're going to get signs. So like you need to know those signs in your team. How do they show up? And this is why I love the Enneagram. You can tell if you use the Enneagram in your team, you can tell when your team or individuals are in stress. So if you know them at that level, Enneagram gives you what they look like in stress. You're going to be able to tell, are you contributing to that? So I want you to ask yourself this question. Am I giving off clarity or confusion? And typically when we're driving out of scarcity, it elicits confusion. So if you're finding these things, here's your 3E framework.
You're dropping bombs over there.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, great.
I'm a bomb dropper.
Threes. First one's evaluate. So how do I feel walking into this scenario? How do I feel walking into this meeting, this presentation, this one-on-one with this person? So just take stock. We talked about that in previous podcasts. The last one we talked about the clarity kind of confusion. The one before that we talked about resiliency and deregulation. There's so much value just taking stock, right? So evaluate and work that muscle. It will come more quickly where you're like, okay, I know that this is off, or I'm feeling chaos and confusion versus clarity, right? I'm hustling versus high achieving. Elevate. Second one, what energy does this team, these people that I'm interacting with, need from me right now? So there also is, this is one of the beautiful nuances of leadership, is taking your strengths and your abilities and navigating them or molding them in real time. Let me back up. Applying your skill set in real time to the nuance of what your team needs at that moment, right? So you don't just come in the exact same way every time. Read the room. So evaluate, match that energy, give them what they need. And then the last one is express. So how can I model what the tone, body language, words, right? What we're doing is you want to model that tone. So once you evaluate, once you take stock of what the team needs, you want to express that in how you show up. So that's your words, your body language, and your tone. So recap, 3 E's, evaluate, you want to express, and you want to, I'm forgetting my 3 E's already, evaluate, elevate, and express. So good, just kind of quick, simple framework to, again, work that muscle, take stock of what's going on, and then lead your team well based on what they need.
And that will actually help you become the thermostat versus being the thermometer. Like when I think about this, are you setting the tone or are you taking the temperature? And this allows us to take the temperature, but set the tone. And actually shift your team. Like if your team is like really stuck in it, or the people around you are really stuck, this is a great way to move people forward quickly, because you're going to be able to give them what they need and then shift the atmosphere. Because staying in sadness or trauma or failure, it's not good for anyone. And so I think a lot of times we just come in and we match the tone versus evaluating that and like actually then shifting it. So I love that. That's like those 3 E's really have helped us. And they help you get out of your own shit too. So super helpful.
Totally. And then, so say you're like, well, that all sounds great, but I don't want to do that. That sounds like a lot of work. I'm just going to come in.
Fluffy.
I'm going to come in hot. And I'm just going to like kick the door in, and they can get in line or they can get out. Okay, fine. So let's talk about what happens when you ignore that. First thing and most costly thing, high churn. You're going to lose people. People just aren't going to put up with that environment. That's not a place where people feel at their best. It's not a place where people feel like they have input. It's not an environment where people feel like they can thrive. That specifically, that kind of like, just put yourself in that place. We've all been around these people. Like, it is a stressful environment. Like, you feel tight and you're like, oh, how's it going to go? And it's frantic and chaotic, and that no one's doing their best work. It's not sustainable. Misalignment, and then just like the culture fatigue. So just to put some language to kind of what I just described, that's going to create an inherent misalignment, and they're just going to get tired of living in that culture. We say, like, people spend 80% of their lives at work. They're spending a lot of time in a space that makes them feel shitty. And that's because of the leader's energy. That's our responsibility. That's not theirs.
Mhm.
Next, there's this creation of kind of this like urgency addiction, and you see this so much. This is very much talked about, like, there's like MVP, um, early stage startups, all this, this language, and those are fine. And you and I have ran those companies. There is a difference of how that work gets done well, and when we are in this state, or if you ignore this, what happens is you create an urgency addiction instead of sustainable performance, right? So you can
Yeah.
do the sprints, it might work out for a while, but ultimately this kind of addiction to urgency versus really paying attention, settling in, outlining what performance looks like, being very clear on objectives, being very clear on your mission and vision. What's that 5-year runway? What's the 10-year? What's the 100-year legacy that you're building? That's really where you want to land. Not that you can't work hard or that time isn't an important parameter, but ultimately sustainable performance is the goal. And then just something to keep in mind, what happens if you ignore this is that, an unregulated leader creates an unstable culture. At the end of the day, again, this is our responsibility as leaders. If you are unregulated, ultimately your team and then therefore your business is unstable, because all these things that I just mentioned create instability, which means that you can't grow sustainably. You can't make the revenue you need to make. Like, this really, really, really impacts your bottom line. Impacts your ability to grow.
Yeah, and real quick, I want to go back to something you said. Like, it is the leader's job, and I think sometimes I get a little bit tired of this language, and you're right, it is the leader's job, but I want to break that down. Like, we do have to set the tone as leaders, and I don't care if you're leading in your home or you're leading at work. I don't care where it's at. Like, we have the opportunity to set the tone, and it is on us. Like, I 100% agree with what you said, but here's why. It's not just like nobody gets to like go and blame you, but when we take ownership over this, regardless of if you're middle management or you're the CEO or the founder or whatever, if we take ownership over this and we go, I'm a leader in an organization. If you're in an organization, you're in a family, you're in a community, you are a leader at some level. You're probably influencing someone. So this is your job. Because when we do this, the people around you shift, because people hear and they feel and are changed more by your energy than your words. If someone's praising you but rolling their eyes, you're not going to feel very valued, right? We know that teenager that they're like, yeah, you're great. And so you're like, yeah, clearly I suck. So I want you to make sure that you look at this and you don't blame others. Like, if you have a leader above you or next to you and you're blaming them for the shitty culture or energy in your culture, I want you to take ownership of that, because your energy, even if it's complacent, it matters. And so if when you take ownership, you're going to shift the environment regardless of who you are. And you're going to feel better. At the end of the day, if you do this, you're going to feel better, even if the environment doesn't shift. So I really want to encourage an ownership environment or mindset in this conversation, because it really does matter. So, leadership challenge. Let's put this into practice, guys. I want you to choose an accountability partner.
Oh, fun. We love that.
Everyone loves that. I know you're rolling your eyes, because I would be, but like, for realsies, it works. You're welcome. When we get people,
No one's going to choose you as your accountability partner because you said for realsies.
I will be the first chosen, and people will think I'm going to be real nice, and I'm going to be a beast out of the gates. No, for realsies. Please choose a partner. When we work on things like energy, and we think about these things intentionally, or even goals, we're, 96% more likely to achieve our goals or make the changes that we want to make if we say it out loud to someone else. And so choose someone who is going to call your ass out, and just be accountable to you. They're going to ask. I'm not really a great accountability partner because I don't like ask. I like forget. I'm like, oh yeah, you were working on that. You should do that. No, I'm just kidding. I'm great. And so choose a partner. And then I want you to choose one E that Taylor broke down to focus on. Which one is your weakest link? And then go get the feedback. Go do it together because it's better together. And then you might have opposite E's and you can encourage each other.
That's a good idea.
Or do it with your whole team. This is like if you're looking for some content to really step into and like get your team moving, this is a great one to present at like a team meeting. So go get it out there and focus on an E.
Yeah.
Where can people find us, Taylor? We got a lot going on.
We got a lot going on. As always, impactinitiative.network is the first place you can stop. Let us know, reach out, learn more, tons of resources on our website. We want to be a value add first and foremost, so impactinitiative.network. And then great events coming up. We'll put all the information in the show notes. We have our health and fitness business roundtable. Not just a networking event, but truly a place to learn, grow. You walk away with actionable things you can apply into your business literally that day. So that's for health and fitness entrepreneurs. And then we also have our trades and services event called the Service Hub. Same thing for business owners, entrepreneurs in that space. And again, walking away, we're seeing just like massive connections, huge growth, people making like really amazing partnerships. So it's just been incredible to be a part of that community and be facilitating that. So both of those events are happening at the end of May. It's the 4th Wednesday and Thursday of every month. Again, we'll put the information in the show notes. If you're in and around the Denver area, I sure do hope we'll see you in person. If not, you can find us online. And until then, we'll see you next time on Impact Mind.